Hello, welcome back to this fine mess of a wall we've created here. We're going to move on to displacement control and global scale. This one shouldn't take too long, not half as long as the colour, at least. So, and it's fairly obvious once you start mucking around. So this here, the random extrusion control. These two sliders, if I drag the white all the way over, let me show thee. Let me show thee what it does. So the darker the shade, the less extrusion that brick will experience. So if I drag this over, I'm allowing more dark shades to appear. So that means that a lot of these bricks have now just sunken in. So now that you've seen that, if I go back to it, you can see now that there are less bricks coming out of the wall. There's less bricks that are set completely to white. So if that comes back to there, you saw the bricks got pushed outwards, more bricks got pushed outwards, so you can give this kind of get a really nice variation, kind of like a labyrinth, Labyrinth David Bowie 1986 film, that kind of wall. And the black, if you drag the black over, you'll see that it adds black, which means no brick. Do not put a brick where the black is. So black all the way over there. There are no bricks that are missing. If I put it to half, loads of bricks are going to be missing. Alright, so that's pretty much the random extrusion control. It just gives you that control of how many bricks you want and how many bricks you don't want. Most times I have it set about here because I do like a bit of this variation, but depending on the wall, if it's like a red flat brick wall, you're going to want this set all the way as far over as possible. And then bear in mind as well, this is just displacement. That's why we're getting some change issues at 4. It's a lot nicer. So now that is a fairly, other than these indents which I have set up, the cracks, sorry. So there's a very straight wall, flat wall. And there's a not so flat wall. I'm going to pump these back down to 3. I work in 3 because the planes are subdivided 5 times. So realistically it's working at 8 subdivisions. And that's workable for me. So it's 4, but takes a bit longer. Right, random extrusion control. Displacement just tells it how far from the wall you want it to push the bricks out. That is 0.1, so it's barely doing anything. Let's go crazy with 10, which you would never do. Well, no, maybe not never, Nick. Chill out. You don't know. I might. So there. Yeah. So the displacement will give you the control of the extrusion itself. And the global scale, excuse me, as I said in the last one, it does just change. The lower the number, the bigger the bricks, basically. The lower the number, the bigger the bricks, the less subdivisions needed, the less memory. The higher the number, the smaller the bricks, the more subdivisions you need, the more memory. Because it's actually not half as, I mean, you can see these bandings here. This is where half a brick is being pushed and the others aren't. You can see all this. That's just because 4 I don't think would fix it. It would help. 5 would fix it. But this is using 412 at 9 subdivisions. So in render it's probably going to use about 800, maybe less. So it's fine, but just bear in mind that the bigger the scale number, the more memory, the more subdivisions you'll need. And when I mentioned the global scale being used for something else as well, because of the way it's set up, I mentioned this in the tutorial description, I think, or somewhere. You can't control the height of the bricks, but it doesn't mean you can't get the same effect. This is where the global scale comes in. So we're going to get to this in the next one. But if I change brick width to the height that I set while I made this, 0.25, we got tiles. So let's say that I really wanted very thin brick. So if I had the choice of directly controlling the brick height to do that, all I'd do is make the bricks a lot longer. Maybe not that long, 4. So the brick width is 4, which effectively means that the height is now a lot lower. And then edit the global scale to get the exact size you wanted. So now, in effect, I've reduce the height of the bricks just by changing the width and the scale. And there is a very good reason why you have to do it that way. There is a very good reason which we'll get into. But so yeah, that's global scale displacement control. Took a little bit longer than I thought. Never mind. Next up, brick mortar shape. That's quite in depth. That will take probably 10-12 minutes. But it's worth it because there's a lot of control here. Alright, so I've been me, you've been you. I'm going to see you with the next one, aren't I? Bye bye.